And we return to episode 41 of Half Hour Henshin. As always, I am your host, Sleepy Witch, joined by...
DJ Azure, the 2.5D hero tuber.
Whew. Finally, man, we're trying to record on like the same days has been rough these past few weeks. It feels like we just
Yeah,
keep having things going on. But the struggle continues.
it does. It
We will
does.
not be stopped. And we got some fantastic episodes to talk about today. I'm so sad about the Geats one.
Man, our good boy finally breaks.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing though is that he's breaking, but at the same time he recognizes that it actually wasn't Buffa's fault.
It wasn't Buffa's fault, and I mean we're just getting straight into the meat of the episode. The thing about it though, the thing that I thought was just so good is the fact that I wasn't sure how they were gonna do it, but Baroba really did turn it into Buffa's despair as well, because now, he also eliminated someone. And I'm sure, and while it's not comparable, I'm sure he's gonna think about it just like the guys who eliminated his buddy.
Yeah, and not only that, it's the second time he's eliminated her.
Yeah, but again, the other elimination, there was a reason why he didn't straight up kill her, and he just destroyed the little entry token. The core, that's what it was. I was like, entry token, the core, because he didn't want to kill her. He just wanted her to stop being a writer.
Yeah. Also, what I wasn't expecting, I was not expecting Kekara to be that to be that happy over his despair. Like, holy sh.
Yeah, because the thing is, Kekara is one of those fans who's like he needs to suffer to get to where he is. So he's just like he's finally gonna do it. He's gonna become strong over this law.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, what the hell? Yeah, just also, it was so messed up. It was so messed up of Kekaro, man.
As much as, and also like much to your what's it called? To your annoyance. Notch Sparrow's back.
Yeah, it's like I'm so tired of this guy. It's like we saw him in the preview. I didn't expect him to be the actual one to make it happen. I'm like, I'm so tired of you, man.
Oh, I knew he would have something to do with it. There was no way. I was like, here's the thing. I was like, there's going to be two things. He's either going to there's going to be a little bit of like a change of heart, and he's going to die instantly at the beginning, or he's going to be the bad guy. And the moment we saw that he was explaining stuff to the sister, and then it cuts to us not hearing from her, I'm like, oh, he did something. This guy.
Yeah. God damn it.
Yep.
So annoyed at him.
I mean, yep, and he's a Jamato now, so that's a whole thing. I mean, and a fairly strong one too, considering the fact that he's able to fight Geats 9.
Mm-hmm.
The scene with Neon and her mom too was just harsh.
Yeah, just and a lot of this episode was just like, yeah, we're at that point. It's straight up endgame now. Like yep. we need to make everyone hurt now.
Yep. And now, and what I'm wondering about for not specifically for next episode, but now I'm wondering how is Neon gonna react to Keiwa's sister being dead, because they had gotten along so well. They'd become one of her first friends. They were gonna look for furnishings for the apartment together.
Yeah, that's gonna be messed up. And and after that, like we said, we're gonna see good boy Keiwa break down.
Yeah, he's gonna give in to the rage. Punk Jack, as always, he's cool. He's doing stuff. I'm sure we'll see the results of that way later. But also, I always love the implication of man, Keiwa is so distraught because the sun was still out and setting, and so Keiwa is so distraught that he just stood there for hours until night fell, until it started raining, until everything.
Yeah, and then I have just the whole thing of just like the whole thing of what's it called? Like, you know, Keiwa, when he comes across a scene, it's like, did you kill her? And it's like Buffa's like, yes. And it's like Buffa, like, you know, obviously, you know, wouldn't have been able to lie his way out of it, but at the same time, he's not that type of character. But at the same time, like it's like it hurt him to actually admit that, you know, he did that. And like, you know, he didn't even justify, it's like, I didn't know. Like, Keiwa
No,
just took one look at the situation though. He's like, he saw yeah, he saw Buffa. He's like, I think he saw the Jamato stuff. Like, oh no. Obviously, the Jamato stuff was like, you know, pulling her in as well too. He basically looks over, sees Veroba and Kekura, and he just knew, it's like, I'm gonna make them pay for it. Like it's like he punches Buffa because, like, you know, obviously, you know, direct cause, but like it's
and
like
also
he
like it's a
immediately knew.
yeah, and also it's like it's a heated moment. Like even
Yeah.
if you know, like there's sometimes you got to react in some way, but
Yeah, and Buffa doesn't even put up a fight over it. It's like he just takes it.
he
Just like
just takes it.
it's like
The yeah,
it's
and
like I fucked up.
the worst part is like him and Ace in this last part of the arcs have gotten kind of close as like friends, Buffa and Ace, but
Mhm.
the big things at the very beginning was the first person that Buffa really started trusting was Keiwa, you know? That's why he did the whole switch thing with when they were doing the like team thing and earlier on.
Mhm.
Routinely he kept trying to stop Keiwa and like I feel like he had a soft spot, so now he's the one who's fucking destroyed
Yeah.
Keiwa.
Yeah.
That must be like double hard. And then obviously Sumuri being absolutely destroyed by this, being like, this is too much.
Yeah. I mean,
Keiwa's, I'll never forgive them. And I fucking love the shots of just Keiwa crying. And then, like, when the lightning strikes Tycoon, I think it's called to be called like Shogun.
yeah, Tycoon Shogun or
Tycoon
something.
Shogun just like behind him, just in the
Yeah, like
rain.
yeah, I don't know what I'm expecting anymore at this point. I'm just like, okay, you yeah, it's like I honestly don't know what's gonna happen next. But at the same time, it's like I feel that because, you know, because of powers of creation, Kay was wished to have everyone, like, you know, kind of revive that died because of the DGP and stuff like that. Like, I have a feeling that, yeah, like she's definitely gonna be okay at the end, but I'm not sure in which way they're gonna take this at this point now.
I
Because,
think
like, you know, yeah,
so. Here's the thing: my current thought process for Endgame. So we were talking about the Berserk suit and how Geets only had it for a minute because I think now fucking Tycoon's gonna have the Berserk suit.
yeah,
That's a one. That's a current thought because it is like the black suit version of his Tycoon like upgrade. So I'm like, this worries me. Second, my current like endgame prediction is kind of like what I've been saying, especially because Ace does not beat the Jesus allegations. I feel like it's gonna be the last wish gets granted, Tycoon wins, but Ace like sacrifices himself for it to happen or to like make the wish happen. Doing that, he's also going to possibly take away the goddess of creation powers like for Samuri and basically be like, you know, live a normal life so you can't be used kind of shtick.
yeah. But if they do that, wait, I was about to say, but if they do that, they're not gonna be able to use them for crossovers anymore. Then I remembered. Oh right, Gaim.
I was gonna say I'm assuming that that doesn't matter. Yeah, I was gonna say there's gonna be that. There's also it would also be really interesting. So if you know Heiwa's sister died, and then if Ace dies, was taking quote unquote the role of like Sumuri's brother, and then like it's like Keiwa and Sumuri kind of picking up the pieces, you know.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
I don't
I'm yeah.
I don't know, man. It's one of those things where I feel like, other than a few really small details, every time I try to say anything about Geets, it's like, no, we're going in a completely different direction.
Yeah, true. But at the same time, that was when the show was meta, and now we're out of the meta. Like, we're not a TV show anymore. So I'm like, what's next?
Yeah.
like, okay. So are you going to actually watch Zero One, or did you watch Zero One?
I have not watched Zero One. I'm currently debating on when the next one I binge is either going to be, I think, Zero One or Ghost. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say like there's a massive spoiler for 01 that shocked me and almost everyone, and it was one of the coolest things they have ever done in Rider.
Okay,
But
maybe
it's
I'll
like
watch 01 next.
it's like last like 4 episodes revealed. That's what I mean. It's huge. Like anyone that's listening has watched 01 knows what I want to talk about for like, breaking trends, but it is one of the coolest fucking things ever.
Okay.
But we'll see, because like, we still need to figure out, like, we still need to resolve Buffa stuff now too, because like now Buffa has a whole thing. Neon it hasn't like, really been part of it, like, just has been trying to rebuild her life. So now we need to see how that is going to be affected by all this. Like there's a lot of stuff that needs to be resolved. Like, it's really funny because like Ace's story is technically over, but not really. Like Ace's story's been over for a while now.
Ace
like it's
a plot. Yeah, Ace has like done his like main character development, and like his arc is over. His story is not, or whatever.
Yeah. What's really great though is that like the other three DGP contestants, it doesn't feel like they're rushing their stories. Like, their stories have been developing up and down throughout the rest of the series. It doesn't feel like we're getting like just like say, okay, cool, it's Ace's story is done, now we can do everyone else's. No, all of their stories have been running in parallel. Like
they've been running
just taking different spotlights.
Yeah, then they've taken different spotlights. And like I said, I think there was a little bit where I was complaining because like basically Keiwa was like non-existent for a little bit because he was just like in the background basically.
Yeah,
but like that happens when you have a bigger cast, and I in general have liked how they've gone through everyone. At least I'm not my friend Matthew, who's basically been crying since Punk Jack's been gone. And he was gone for like what, fucking 25 episodes, like half of the show.
True.
That was his favorite. That was his favorite guy, and he's just like, nope, he's dead.
Yeah, when they brought him back, I was actually really surprised too. I'm like, oh, cool.
Oh hell yeah, it was a good surprise. I liked it.
Yeah, but, they brought him back and gave him his own special. Like it's
I need to go
great.
see we need to watch the special at some
point.
Oh,
that's right. Yeah, we need to watch the special. Oh okay. Man.
But
yeah, actually, and then after that, like, what was our rule again for this one? Just because
it was that the goddess of creation can basically like grant wishes if she synchronizes with the feelings of someone else. Like if she like synchronizes or if she feels enough. Let me see if I can find the specific wording. A god of creation's powers can be triggered if they resonate strongly enough with someone's wish.
Okay, so so I have a feeling that Sumida is gonna revive Keiwa's sister at some point in some way.
She might. The main thing is obviously she's the reason he gets Shogun or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's looking for the power to make his thing, and she's giving him that power. But okay. Speaking about interesting endings that'd leave us thinking, Jasara's from GGE channel.
Freaking Jasara's, man. Okay, so oh man, I forgot. So what's the deal with this new world now? We open up on a beach.
We don't have an explanation of the new world. We open up on a beach. She kind of gives us a rundown. She's figured out that that like she needs to like do something in every world to get like the stamp. And she gets confronted by this guy who basically says, "I don't know why you're here. I won't ask. Basically, just don't interfere. Don't be a busybody." She talks to Jasaris, and basically it's just people seem to just not react to her. And then she messes with like a little girl trying to bring her home, and she does, and then she just kind of passes out and wakes up on the beach. Which that has me thinking. Like, so every time she's died, she's moved on from the world, but she's only ever died after either time was up or after a certain like thing was completed, and then they got the little card, right? So I wonder if she dies beforehand, does it just kind of start again like a loop?
That is interesting. I don't know, like, or maybe it might just be this world, like, it has to go the same way every time, or it might just be a Groundhog Day loop world, and like they don't want her to like solve the mystery of the world.
Right. So many questions.
There's a lot to think about, but a lot of this episode is really just a massive fight scene.
Yeah,
It's great. Like you got to
it's
see your boy, a green boy with a
yeah.
big fist.
I'm a big fan of big fist weapons, and I I don't like the color green that much just as a color, but in like Ranger, Sentai, and Rider, it's the green ones that I end up really liking. I don't know why.
Hmm.
But I like his vibes. I like the vibes of the old like sensei who tells him, like, are you still a weakling kind of. And I
Hmm.
love, love, love his suit.
Yeah,
Uh
that dude was so cool.
the like transformations for this show are still just super cool. I'm really glad that they just look the way they do. Um just the vibe. First of all, the really just cool vibe in being economical, like it's a nice little kind of like CG transformation that they can do, and then like the nice switch it into like the real suit, which just
Hmm.
works really well for I feel like what this show's trying to do. Cool suit, uh cool fight. Uh But then the biggest thing is Green Guy basically uses his weakness, which is that he has to protect the girl. Uh,
Hmm.
but the big thing is we find out something about something called second humans and eructs,
Hmm.
which Jasiris just calls production numbers. That he's just gonna live longer than a regular human. And the guy's like, "You think so?" And we don't know what else is going on with that, but he uses his one weakness, which is that he has to protect the girl. Jasaris jumps to try to save her, which leaves him open, and he just gets destroyed.
Yeah, just like, and it's not just like a normal destruction. No, it's like they actually show like everything. Like he like gets like half his like torso like chunked out. Like his face just starts deteriorating. Like it looks like he got Thanos snapped by the end of it.
He kind of does. The big thing about it that I thought was really interesting is again the like transformation in this world are like these like false bodies, these like robot bodies that they seem to have.
Hmm.
And so it just gets like fully destroyed, which I thought is interesting because obviously in most Rider or Sentai media, if they get defeated, they get knocked back, and it's like the de-transforms. But like the transform, like it's like the full body. It's not just the suit on top. Uh,
Yeah.
and then the big thing is like the little app that the girl has on her phone that helped them transform just like glitches out and disappears.
Hmm.
And he lost, and he just lost and died. And
Yeah.
we see all his stuff disappear, and we're just kind of left like that. Again, the main substance of this episode was short because they really did spend a long time on that
Yeah.
fight. And now we
And it's
Mhm.
basically a lore dump as episode 2, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, I really wonder what second second what's it called, second human like mean. I wonder like
Hmm.
what the actual implications of that are going to be, and I'm really curious on now what this girl has to do with everything.
Yeah, it's like obviously, yeah, like you said, he needs to protect her, and
Yep.
yet he keeps trying to tell her to kill him, which is really curious as well too. So like I'm really wondering, like they haven't explained anything in this episode in this series, and it's great though still, but
They
they
haven't.
haven't explained anything.
My current wanderings, if with them just bringing everything in, um and as always, this is just me saying like rude ramblings. If they're second human, for some reason, I'm like really hung up on that and thinking that she's either like a second human or she's like a third human. She's maybe something beyond, but she needs to like grow to a certain level, and maybe so she was deemed too dangerous. So like the actual organization was trying to get rid of her. He's just like, well, no, she deserves to live. So he's actually trying to like let her live, but without killing him, she won't be able to like I guess reach that next threshold that she's supposed to for her like growth.
Hmm.
Um I have no idea. The biggest things I'm thinking about though is we saw the dude with his little timer, this time it being a plant. It only looked like half grown, so there is still time left in this world. So I wonder
Hmm.
now if this means she's gonna have to fix this world on her own. And then second of all, does that mean she's also going to have to like fix the world, possibly gain the stamp anyway, and then like kill herself without him having to do it.
That would be interesting. Huh.
Yeah, because
Also,
this. Mhm.
also, I didn't realize that. Yeah, the dude was a timekeeper. Oops.
Oh, have you done real? Yeah, every time he's
Yeah.
got something, it's like as whatever he's doing like runs out or whatever, you know. So when he had the
Hmm.
balloon, it was like as it's running out of air. When he had the windmill, it's like as it stops spinning. He's got the plant. It's like until it grows.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I didn't notice that. Now I'm gonna watch for it.
were you just like, man, this guy just holding a random thing every time, huh?
Yeah, I was kind of laughing about it. I was just vibing with the dude.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Uh, but then now we get to the King Oger, which is about your favorite this week.
Yeah, Rita. Like, okay, I'll admit this episode did not like hit me emotionally as hard as the past like episodes have. Like, because we got Yanma and his mentor. Everything about Himeno.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's fair.
yeah, getting every single like getting played by of course by by Dabowski. But Rita's episode, like, it was sweet, but at the same time, it's like it didn't hit me as hard, even though it should have. Like, it's like it was actually like absolutely sweet, but man, like the whole thing about her, like, that was basically her dad, right? Essentially, or
So,
father figure.
so
I
right
was a
now,
little confused about that. Yeah,
I they like clearly do not tell you. So
yeah,
like, because it's specifically, I would assume that the sovereign would have chosen it, but she keeps wondering why the sovereign chose her, and all I can think of is like, or chose them, and it's like, why would you wonder that if you were just their kid? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because if you were their kid, you're like, well, I was just the next in line. But they're talking about choosing, and then the other big thing is the fact that the person whose hair the sovereign actually matches is Morphone,
yeah.
and so it's just like, are they related?
And at the same time, talk about Morphonia, like she basically says at the end, like, say, it's like, wait, am I really going to follow after you? And it's like, yeah, so it's like if I step down, I'm like, okay.
So yeah, that's the thing that makes me wonder. They leave it ambiguous whether the previous monarch was Rita's, like, whether they were their like biological parents, because the other dude basically never makes any mention of like him and Rita.
Relation.
Yeah, like him and Rita's relationship. He only ever mentions like his love for his wife basically at the
Yeah,
end.
I was so confused the entire time about it. Um, but at the same time, like, it was just it was like really sweet. Like, the whole thing is like, it's like I knew you would find the truth, and it's like, but this is also a big episode for the Fury of the Gods. Like, considering the fact that we've gotten essentially like an arc about the Fury of the Gods, like the past, or at least about the past. And yeah, it's like we finally are learning that, saying, okay, yeah, there was someone behind it,
There was
and
someone
it
behind
was.
it. There's some big conspiracy that's currently kind of being holed up by the previous monarch, because that's where they are dealing with like the punishment in secret or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, I do love one of my favorite things about this episode or whatever is just the fact that like at the end when the Bugnarok gets big and he shows up to like fight, it's just like out of nowhere Jeremy just, yo, what's up
Yeah, it's like, I'm
here.
taking care. Yeah, yeah. It was like a Don Bros episode. Okay, you know what? Okay, the story needs to happen. Shut up. Let the story be told. Actually, no. This is completely in character for Jeremy. It's like, wait, no. There's an interesting story to be told. Get the hell away from it.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. Oh
I love that
man.
he just shows up and he's like Spider Kimono. I also just, I don't know if we talked about it. I love that his like summon for the Spider Kimonos is almost like a poem that, and then God descended in the very vision of like a knight or whatever. I love that. That's so cool to me.
Yeah.
But
Also,
mhm.
yeah, like, but man, like, I actually know, what did get me though was Himeno actually giving the limited edition Mofun. That actually got me. That was so cute.
That
Like,
was adorable. I
y-
love that they're kind of like, oh, they're friends.
yeah,
Uh,
like they act like complete opposites all the time. It's great.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
And you also have to remember like the stuff about like, when it comes to stuff like neutrality, like people talk about neutrality, but people have different stances on neutrality, so there's no such thing as like a perfect neutrality. But
Yeah.
whew, the big thing at the end of this episode though, the Bugnarok are attacking.
Yeah,
Gira
they're
gets like
yeah,
hidden.
yeah, they're attacking in
Tombo
Kosopa.
and Kosovo,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's like, oh shit. And it's like he has to like still like lay low. Like he can't show himself as like, alive. And then, yeah, Rackla is saying, you
Yep.
say it.
Yep. We got to negotiate the terms of peace. All I can think of is from the preview, we have a new kind of like mid boss. We got like a general kind of guy, which is cool. But all I can think of is like, yeah, I feel like our suspicions are kind of coming together. It looks like Rackles maybe he wants peace with Bugnarok, but he wants it to attain control over all five kingdoms.
Hmm.
Because you have to remember, he was like, I'm gonna negotiate. I don't need to tell any of you guys, but if you pledge yourselves to me, since the other kings haven't pledged themselves to Rackles, he's basically being like, "Aye, you guys can attack."
Hmm. So tired of this guy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he makes for a good villain. I really want to see what's gonna go on with because he's got the like, what's it called, Kuwagata Zero
Yeah, he
thing,
does.
but that thing can force the other Shoe Gods into King Oger mode. The
Mm.
only thing I wonder is if he's made other Zero units basically,
Hmm.
and because the thing I'm gonna wonder is if at some point they try to use King Oger, like, I mean they take that away from Rackles, but what if he has backup stuff?
Yeah.
In addition,
Yeah.
going back to the thing with it might not be Rackles who did the Fury of the Gods, but it feels
Hmm.
like he had something to do with it because I think
Hmm.
around that time is the time they Gira disappeared as well.
Hmm. Also, also talking about like we were spending so much time talking about the Rita part of the episode that I forgot that there was a Jeremy part of the episode. Like, it's like, oh no, I mean, it's like how naive he was. Like, say, well, I mean, since they discuss things, we're gonna have peace, right? And it's like he, like, despite being the oldest person out of all of them, he's the most naive to, like,
Yeah.
how relations are.
Yep.
And like yeah, Yanma just slams his laptop in front of you. Then what's this? And it's like shows like, yeah, the Bugnarok, like, sneaking around Unkasupa.
Yep, yep. And the big thing with that is, it looks like at least Jeremy's not like an idiot, you know what I mean? In that first time when they went and fought the Bugnarok, he was kind of like, "Hey, stop it. I told you guys not to fight." But this time, he sees like, "Okay, there were peace talks and they're still being invaded." So it's not like they could just let that happen.
Yeah, it's like yeah, he was very what's it called, yeah, he was very idealistic. Like, it's like, oh well, this will be a very, very quick ending to this story of war, essentially.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no,
I hope we
no.
eventually see like a flashback of like Jeremy's childhood, yeah. And I hope he
Hmm.
has the super like stereotypical like super lovey-dovey parents. And that's why he's so naive, because the whole time they were like so obviously in love that he can only think it's like, well, obviously everyone, love can conquer all, and Bugnarok and stuff can coexist, and so he just isn't even thinking about the fact that like it's not that easy for everyone. And I mean, again, the whole shtick was that the sixth king was banished, and I assume his kingdom was kind of like split up between them or something.
Yeah.
If there's, if because they supposedly cover the whole land of Terra or whatever, so his kingdom is just was gone over just the fact that he married a Bugnarok lady.
Hmm. But yeah, I mean, we'll see soon enough. And just like, oh man.
Yeah,
Whew.
It's interesting. I mean, King Oger's starting to like finally ramp up. Now we're at the point where Geats is kind of like not ramping down because things are getting more intense, but it's starting to like wrap things up because it knows it has, do we have a confirmed number of episodes?
No, yeah, we don't have a
So
confirmed
so
number of
we
episodes.
assume 8 to 10 or so
Yeah.
more episodes. So we don't have an exact number on that, but we know that, it's not you could count them in both hands, but still exciting nonetheless. I think we had talked about this when we started talking when we were doing Don Brothers stuff when the ending was coming up, where it's like, well, this is wrapping up. Geats feels like it's heating up, and now it's the other way around. And
I'm
uh,
well, no. Well, I mean, the thing was, I was basically talking about how how Dawn Brothers was heating up, despite the fact that what was it, Revice was ending. Like there was no break to let the other show breathe.
okay, that's what it was. I didn't remember
Yeah.
exactly. But I mean, there's kind of a cycle, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, even after Geats, we're gonna have what's it called, Gotchard.
Yep, we have Gotchard, and actually, I need to double check on this because I mean, this is also technically news as well too. But Ultraman Blazar starts when?
Wasn't that next month?
July 8th. So in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean that's technically next month. So yeah, we
Yeah.
got all that. We'll start watching Ultraman, and with
Yeah.
that, we have been Half Hour Henshin. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for listening as always, and we will see you next time.
Later.
This program is brought to you by
Our unending love of Tokusatsu.
If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to like and subscribe.
And hit the bell for notifications. And if you would like to support us further, consider becoming a patron at our Patreon, Half Hour Henshin.
You can get some exclusive benefits, such as your name in the credits and joining our sticker club. Or, if you want to help with a one-time donation,
you can also find us at Ko-fi at Half Hour Henshin. You can email us with any questions or theories at halfhourhenshin@gmail.com or on Twitter at halfhourhenshin.